There's no good time to feel excellent, great, whatever you want to call it about a loss. We don't feel good about losses. But following a season-ending defeat to the hated Dirty Birds, your New Orleans Saints can now fully turn their attention to the 2026 season. And one would have to say that the future is as bright as it's been in several years. So today, with our first Mano E Monday show of 2026, we'll put the wraps on 2025. We'll talk about whether Tyler Shuck has a legitimate shot at Offensive Rookie of the Year. We'll take a look at next year's schedule, and we'll also take a peek at the draft order. Who do we think the Saints should pick? Yeah, we're talking about that already. Of course, we're looking forward. Gabe Henderson is here, so we'll talk about all the news on the LSU, on the LSU football front. What quarterback is going to visit today? What quarterback is not coming to LSU? Of course, we're all breaking Black Monday news along the way. In fact, we have one as we start the show. And maybe we'll make some early predictions for the NFL playoffs, which get underway on Saturday. We have the early Super Bowl odds, and oh yeah, I also have my final dime of the season. All this coming up and more. Let's get this Dattitude podcast started, and it starts right now.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
Hello, everybody. Where are you at, Dattitude family? Y'all ready to get back to your routines? I mean, because that's where we are. I mean, everybody is going to get back to their routines today. Everybody goes back to work. Oh, wait, except teachers. Why are my kids still in the house? Why the hell are they still in the house? Shouldn't they be back at school? I mean, how much time do they need? Sorry, I know I got some teachers watching me. I love you and all, but exactly why do y'all need that much time off? Just saying, I guess if I was a teacher, I'd want that much time off too. We don't take that much time. In fact, we don't hardly take any time off here on Dattitude. Episode number 459, presented by Evangeline Securities for a Monday, January the 5th, 2026. You know who I am. I'm Derry. I am 35 plus years on the New Orleans sports media scene. I thank you for being a part of the Dat Family. Dat Family, what are we going to talk about today? We got all kinds of stuff to talk about today. It's not just going to be Saints, because we are going to have breaking news. We're going to get to Black Monday. But the latest, Gabe just told me, in fact, let's see who's reporting it. Rapp and Schefter. Y'all know about some of these already, but did you know Jonathan Gannon was just fired by the Arizona Cardinals? What was that, 3 years for him, Gabe, or 2? Can't remember. Wasn't many. It's kind of a surprise a little bit, I got to say. I thought they would give him one more year because, I just thought that was a bit of a surprise. I thought with all the stuff that happened to the Cardinals this year, all the injuries and everything that went along with him, I thought they would give him one more year. But such is life in the NFL. We're going to get to Black Monday again as we go along. We may have breaking news throughout the show. We'll see. I'll tell you about some of the other firings as we go along. We're also going to talk about LSU. What is going on in their quarterback front? Many of you know what's going on there. Sam Leavitt is visiting, Arizona State quarterback visiting today, and really LSU needs to get on that. It looks good for Sam Leavitt, I'm going to say that, but it looked good for Sorsby the other day too, and then he chose Texas Tech. Now we hear this morning, breaking news sort of, if you didn't hear this, that Trinidad Hubbard is going back to Ole Miss if he is granted a 6th year of eligibility. So we'll see if that's the case or not. But even if he comes back, he's going to Ole Miss, and you got to be super impressed by what that kid did the other night against Georgia. He was outstanding for Ole Miss. Can he keep it going? Will Ole Miss have the LSU assistants with them? That's a big story. We may talk about that. Who knows what we're going to talk about? Gabe's probably going to be on a little bit longer than he usually is today. He actually may come on a little bit earlier because, again, we got all kinds of stuff going on. So Schefter reporting that Jonathan Gannon is fired. 3 seasons. He was fired 3 seasons there. All right. As we go forward, you know what's going on. You know what's special about Monday, especially Mano E Monday, that we don't have any guests. Gabe's not a guest. Gabe's a part of the show. It is just me. It's just you. It's just Gabe. You type in your comment, whether you watch it on YouTube or Facebook, you know that we'll show it here. And we will talk about whatever you want to talk about. I know it's going to be 80-90% Saints today, but whatever you want to talk about, that's what we're going to talk about. Love to have your comment. Especially if you're new, we'd really love to have it. If you've never said hello to us before, today is the day. Say hello to us today. If you've been, I had an email from someone the other day who said that they never commented on the show before, but they wanted to tell me hello, and I thought that was really cool. Don't be shy. Nobody's shy here in the show. If you got something to say it. We would love to have you. Also, you can get in touch with me if you're listening or watching after the fact, and you want to reach out as others have. You can email me at jim@jimderry.com, or you can find me on X at Jim Derry Jr. If you haven't done so, last thing before we get to the show itself, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube page, what are you waiting for? It is growing every day. It is growing. We're about to start memberships. That's coming up in the next, I think it's going to happen within a week. I said 2 weeks. I think Charles was asking me about it on Facebook the other day. Or Adam Varner was. Someone was asking me about memberships. It is going to start within the next week or two. I'm still trying to find out what we're going to give out, what we're going to do that's different from memberships. In the early part, it's probably just going to be your way to support the channel, which I appreciate, as we go independent here and we have some great sponsors like Evangeline and Joe DiStefano Insurance. But it'll be a way for you to support the channel, but we will also be giving back to you. We're still working on how we're going to do that. That's coming up. All right, let's get to the show itself. And you know what? I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to give them love early on because on Friday, I waited till like 25 minutes into the show before I gave them love. In fact, I think Zach was on the show before I gave him love. We can't do this without our sponsors. Let me tell you about our friends at Evangeline Securities. Of course, they're a company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family-run or privately held business. And just as importantly, they can figure out what that business is worth. They know what the Saints are worth going into 2026. Well, maybe that's a little bit far. If it's you or someone you know, it's time to reach out to Evangeline's founding partner, Nick Braden. He will start by scheduling a complimentary evaluation from his office, either on Pointer Street or in Lafayette. From there, you'll be well informed to begin to make the decision on if you want to proceed. What happens after that? We'll tell you about the rest of your life later in the show. In the meantime, you can check them out at www.evangelinesecurities.com. Oh, yeah, let me tell you about my friend Joe DiStefano and his insurance. You want to know all about it, right? If you own a small business of fewer than 20 employees, you know how tough it is to get the best rates on health insurance. That's why you want to call Joe DiStefano Insurance. Joe and I have known each other for almost 40 years. I can tell you that he's someone that I trust. Look, health insurance shouldn't be one size fits all. And with Joe DiStefano, you get access to PPO networks and flexible plans designed to fit you, not just a cookie cutter mold. Joe's licensed, he's local, but he can help you no matter where you live and operate. From preventative care to peace of mind, we'll tailor a plan that works for your life today and tomorrow. Call Joe DiStefano at 504-234-2132 to protect what matters most. I don't know why I keep screwing this up, by the way. We're going in breaking news. I keep screwing up Trinidad Chambliss's name, and I didn't even realize I did it. Gabe's corrected me. Thank goodness he is, because I probably keep saying it. Trinidad Chambliss. Say that five times. Chambliss. I said who the hell is Trinidad Hubbard? Because that's not the first time I've said that, right? I've said that like multiple times before. I don't know who the hell that is. I don't know why I keep saying that. I mean, first of all, who has the name Trinidad? I don't think I've known anybody or watched anybody. I keep saying the wrong freaking name. I don't know why I keep saying that. Anyway, maybe Gabe will tell me why I keep saying it. So this morning on NFL Black Money, I'm about to get to the comments and we're going to get started here. Raheem Morris fired. I was so upset about Raheem Morris getting fired. I mean, I guess when you start thinking about whether you should keep a coach or not, one of the things you should do is think about what would your opponents want you to do? So if the Falcons did that, I hand it to Arthur Blank, but he doesn't usually do that. He usually holds on to a coach too long. Think of Mike Smith, even Dan Quinn to some extent. Arthur Smith absolutely held on to him too long. I don't know. Oh, here's Trinidad Hubbard, by the way. He played baseball at Southern. Okay, well, that's where I got him. See, things get stuck way back in the brain, and it just comes out. He was drafted by the Astros in the mid-'90s, early 2000s, played 2003. He ended his career with the Cubs. There you go. I got my Cubs. I'm already looking forward to baseball. So that's why I keep calling him Trinidad Hubbard. Good Lord. You would think I would look at my notes, but I don't know. Apparently I didn't, because in my notes, it's Chambliss. But I said Hubbard. Anyway, you know what I meant. So Raheem Morris fired. I am upset about that. What about some other ones? Kevin Stefanski got fired. Yeah. Maybe Deion Sanders is going to be the next coach of the Cleveland Browns. Why not? I mean, they can't do any worse. And it's not Stefanski's fault. That organization is just an absolute disaster. So remember last year when we were talking about we were ranking teams and as bad as it was for the Saints. Remember the last time this time last year? I mean, think about where the Saints were this time last year and as we kind of move forward. I mean, it couldn't be more miserable. We couldn't have been more miserable at this time last year. Thinking about, but even then, remember Gabe and I were trying to put teams that we would rather be or not rather be, I guess, than the Saints. There were only a few of them. The Browns were definitely one of them. We were right by that. You know what I'm going to do on Wednesday, by the way? I am going to give you a final tally on Gabe and I. We did our over-unders on wins before the season. We're going to tell you on Wednesday how we did. I don't know who our guest is, by the way. We will have a guest on Wednesday as we get back to normal. But I would tell you that on Wednesday how we did. I have a feeling it's just okay, mediocre. We'll see. But if we go back in time, you think about how many franchises you would rather be than the Saints. And there were probably only like, I mean, if you were being uber positive, you could say there's like 6 or 8. There's only like 6 or 8 that you would, the Saints are better off than. Gabe, I think, said there were like 4. But think about it today. Would you rather be any other team in the NFC South than the Saints? I really don't think I would be, honestly, right now. I certainly wouldn't want to be the Falcons. Although if the Falcons hire the right coach, I think that I still say that the Falcons have the most talent right now than any other team in the NFC South. I know a lot of you don't want to hear that. Again, I'm about to get to the comments, so y'all can chime in if you want. Please feel free to tell me how wrong I am. But if they hire the right coach, they are absolutely in position to where they could be really good next year. I'm telling you, I don't think the NFC South is going to be bad as it's been next year. If, and this is a big if because the Falcons hardly ever hire the right coach. But think about what they have on offense. I still think Michael Penix is going to be a good quarterback going forward. I know before he got hurt, he had a rough start. They have a mess with Kirk Cousins. I don't know what they're going to do there. But Drake London, to me, is a top 10 receiver in this league. I mean, can Kyle Pitts continue? I mean, we've been talking about Kyle Pitts for years. The last 6 games of the season, he showed you why he had all this hype around him. And then you talk about, I mean, they need help in multiple places. They need help on defense too. But I think the Falcons could have they could be better. Again, they got to get the right coach. What about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? They're going to keep their coach, I think. I mean, they're not going to fire Todd Bowles after they won. They won 4 division titles, and yeah, they stunk this year, but they wouldn't fire him. But I'd still rather be the Saints than the Bucs. I'd certainly rather be the Saints than the Panthers. I don't care if they're going to the playoffs or not. Good for them. They're going to take a step back next year. And the Panthers are going to have to play the first place schedule in the NFC South. Good luck with that. I don't think that's going to work out real well for them. That's just my opinion. So we'll see how it's going. But anyway, we're going to get to that. Also, Pete Carroll was fired this morning. No shock there. That old geezer, dude. I told you that already. I've never been a Pete Carroll fan. He made the most boneheaded call in the history of the NFL. That's not why. I've never been a Pete Carroll fan. I thought that was a crazy hire. You're hiring somebody that's 70 whatever years old. That was just silly. It didn't work. No surprise. They need a young coach there with Ashton Genty and young talent. And now that they have the first pick of the draft coming up, they need to get some excitement in Vegas. And then Zach Morris survived for the Bengals. Maybe a tinge of a surprise. I'm not a big Zach Morris fan. What does Joe Burrow think? And then, again, as we said, Jonathan Gannon got fired by the Cardinals. So we will see as we what did I say? I said something wrong again? What did I say? The hell did I say? Oh, I said Zach. Good Lord. I got to read the GD script. We're saved by the bell this morning. Jesus. I better get to the comments before I say something else stupid. Good Lord. I swear to God I didn't drink last night. Good morning, Rock. Bring on 2026. The future is bright here in NOLA. By the way, let's switch the slide here. Let's go to the Saints main slide here as we get more. I'm sure most of these comments will be about the Saints. I know you be in. Dude, I don't know what the hell's going on. I have no idea. I don't know what is going on. I'm telling you, I did not drink last night. I did watch that great game. It was fun. That game was fun. I didn't know who I was rooting for in the beginning. Rocky says needs our offensive line, running back, wide receiver, punter. I mean, they need it. Come on, Rock. The punter sucks, but that's like eighth on my list of needs. Punters are a dime a dozen. Yeah. I mean, there were actually people bitching about Charlie Smith yesterday. It just goes to show you, man. Everybody wanted Charlie Smith to come in and kick, and they were bitching about it. I had people bitching about Charlie Smith on my feed yesterday. Gary, good morning. Exciting game. Too many special teams mistakes. Drop passes. What I like is no quitting, solid defense. Hope we can re-sign Cam and DeMario for another year. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Here's another one I agree with. Lance, Jeremiah Love, whatever it takes. Absolutely. You want to talk about needs? That's your need. And Saints going to draft. We'll talk about where they're going to draft in a minute, but they're going to draft 8th. Most of you know that. 100%. They need that. UBN wants to know if Ole Miss is better without Lane. They're not worse. Daryl Hayden says, good morning. How much better do I feel this moment compared? That's what I'm talking about. And that was typed in before I even started talking. You know that I don't look at these comments until I put them up on the screen. So y'all are thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Y'all remember the show. Y'all remember us sitting here after that finale, and thank God this season's over. And please, for the love of Christ, don't keep Darren Rizzi. I said, it is Darren Rizzi, right, Gabe? Rizzi's his last name? Okay. Just making sure. Jesus Christ. Apathy, good morning. I think Shuck is the guy, he says. He was throwing passes to Rouse's employees yesterday. Much will be made about the Saints at the 8th pick, but for him, health continues to be number one issue. It was better this year in the grand scheme of things. It wasn't good. But, other than Jawan Johnson, that was basically the practice squad out there. Even Dante Pettis wasn't on this. I don't think he was on the 53-man. Well, he was on the 53-man. I don't think he was on the active roster in the beginning of the season. But Dante Pettis was your number 1 or number 2 receiver. Kevin Austin, where was he to begin the season? And Chuck was still getting it done. William Hester, where you at, Dattitude family? What's going on? Good morning, Kyle Sherman. How are the Dattitudinals feeling? Well, I think they're excited for the offseason, just like you say. What a difference 9 weeks make. Absolutely. Hakeem, big dog. He wants Caden Proctor to replace Ruiz. We're going to get to Ruiz later on. Maybe not today. I don't know if they're going to replace Ruiz. I got to be honest, Hakeem. I'm not saying I don't think they should, but I think that when you look at what they need, obviously guard is a big need. This is going to be an interesting, as we lead up to the draft. These mocks, I don't usually give a rat's patoot about mocks, But I am going to look at some, and we're going to start doing our own. And I'm going to get into these highlights. We're going to start doing highlights. Maybe we'll do lead ups. Gabe, we can, as we get closer and after Mardi Gras. I think what I'm going to start doing is maybe putting together some highlight packages of players the Saints could potentially draft. I mean, you got to think there's probably what, assuming they don't trade, there's like only going to be a handful of. There's only going to be like 5 or 7 that they might draft. I mean, that's the one thing when you draft earlier. It's not when you draft in the middle of the draft when there are like 10 options or 12 options. There's probably only really like 5 that the Saints might get. One of them's definitely an offensive lineman. And again, we'll go forward and talk about this as we go over the next couple of months. But you're going to start thinking about, is it possible that the Saints draft O-line again? I mean, it's certainly, I think other than running back, I think it is maybe even more than running back. It, like Rocky said, it might be the biggest need. So what would you do if you were going to draft a lineman? Okay, I know that they say you can go get a guard in free agency and whatever, blah, blah, blah. By the way, the LSU just signed a running back in the portal. Utah running back Racine Guillory. Gabe, I don't know anything about him. If you want to look into that, let's see what kind of numbers he had. We'll bring that up when we get to LSU. I can't imagine they're good. I never heard of them. So I just think it's O-line or running back. It's got to be one of those two positions. I guess theoretically, if you do want to go to offensive line in the draft, you could do guard. I mean, in free agency, you could do guard in free agency. And then if Jeremiah Love's going, you could go wide receiver in the first round. I don't know. Again, we got a couple months to get there before we talk about more about that. We're going to talk about it a lot going forward. Charles Mangus, good morning. Saints were better than the Falcons? I don't think so. Charles, I'd love to say that they were. I thought they were, but look, think about what the Saints did. What did the Saints do wrong? More than anything, they turned the ball over. They can't win when they turn the ball over. The Saints only scored 17 points. Look, Chuck was, for the most part, really good again. That interception also goes to show, though, at times, and this is the only thing that worries me. And look, he hasn't had a lot of these moments, but that pick that was almost a pick six, that might have been his worst pass since the first game that he played. It was pretty bad. But, you know, the Falcons did what they needed to do. You look at the defense, the Saints defense, again, we're going to get to this in the dime. 4 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. But the Saints were not able to consistently run the ball like they were last week. Estime, 21 carries for 63 yards. Now, they were able to limit Bijan. Bijan only had 15 carries for 33 yards. He averaged 2.2. But Estime averaging 3 yards a carry. They have got to be able to run the football next year. But in the grand scheme of things, it's fine. But if the Saints don't turn the ball over, they probably win the game. Lance, good morning. Mark Gapsky, good morning. Excited for the draft already. JC is here. 62 degrees and sunny in Denver. It's going to be about 62 degrees, but not sunny, I think, here in the New Orleans area. Jason Benson, can we start the 2026 season? That's what I'm saying. And I said this on a short. I think it was a short. If I wasn't so damn old, I would ask Father Time to teleport me into September, baby. But at my age, you don't just skip over time. No, you can't. So we'll just have to enjoy the offseason together. Dylan Smith, who that, baby? Never felt so good with a losing season. 100%. Lance is also saying, Jeff Duncan said that Gannon and Staley are really tight and wouldn't be surprised to see him in New Orleans. I don't think Gannon's going to take anything less than a coordinator job. You don't go from coordinator, go from defensive coordinator of a Super Bowl candidate to head coach to being an just some assistant. That's not going to happen. I don't see that. By the way, okay, well, there you go. Yeah, I'm ready, Gabe. Utah running back Racine Guillory transfers to LSU. He had 1 carry for 4 yards last year. I don't know what that's about. Maybe we'll find something out about him, though. Maybe it was some high-flying recruit that we don't know about. I don't know. Okay, Gabe says when he comes on, he's going to read his high school stats. I can't wait to hear him. I'm sure that'll be good. Charles wants to know why the Tampa coach didn't get fired. I mean, he's not going to get fired. You can't look. Y'all know what I think about Todd Bowles. I don't like Todd. I don't like Todd Bowles as a coach. I mean, he may be a great person. He's certainly a good defensive coach. But as a head coach, I'm not a fan. But when you win the division title, I don't think the first one was his, but of the 4 in a row, but the other 3 were, I believe. And you can't fire a guy who won 3 division titles in a row and was playing for the division title on the final day of the season and then won. And even though they went 8-9, you can't fire him. That would be ridiculous. Again, I am no fan of him whatsoever. William Hester, what time are the Saints bringing back Terry Fontenot? No thanks. I'm sorry. I know he's a homegrown guy and he left the Saints and went, and I don't want Terry Fontenot here. The Falcons were a mess. Why do we want him back? I mean, really? What has he done? What did he do in Atlanta that made you want him back? Nothing. That's just me. I know I'm in the minority on that one too, but I don't necessarily want him back. Ron Hendrickson is feeling a lot better about the Saints than at any time since Peyton left. Moore and Shuck will be cornerstones going forward along with Staley. Is Gannon teaming up with Staley? I don't think so. I just don't think so. Stefanski did get fired. Is he going to Atlanta? Maybe. Nettie, you want a sticker? How do you get one? You just, Gabe, can you tell her how to do that? Because I don't know. I know there's a way to click on something on the page that or actually it's on the video, I believe. Anyway, Gabe's, what is it, Gabe? She means a dad sticker. Oh, you got it. That'll come with the membership. Absolutely. In fact, I have them right here. I'm going to get these from, I know you're going to get one of these if you become a DAT member. Again, coming up, you will absolutely get, this will be just one of the things you get. You'll get more than this, but this will be one of the things you get for sure. DAT stickers. These are stickers. I put one on the back of my truck. So if you're driving around the North Shore, if I happen to be on the South Shore, and you see a truck with one of those stickers on there, that's me. That's what you meant. I'm sorry. I thought you meant super sticker. What else we got here this morning before I get to Derry's Dime? Adam Varner, good morning. He's at work, but Shuck definitely showed grit in the face of adversity with not too strong offensive weapons. Yeah, I know. Trinidad Hubbard's a MLB player. Maybe he plays for Ole Miss too, and I just don't know about it. I mean, the way it's set up now, he might still have eligibility. I mean, you could go back now. You could play professional sports and go back, and if you still have eligibility, what was the kid from the kid that was playing that went and played for Baylor the other night and got booed? Gabe, who was that? It was a former pro. He went and played pro ball, didn't work out, and he went back to college. I didn't even know you could do that. I don't know. I would try. He's a G League player, but still, I didn't know you could do that. Apparently, you can do that now. William, good morning. Where is it? I know it's going to be something great about Shuck. You know, I'm excited about 2026 for Tyler Shuck as our franchise quarterback, the 8th overall pick on the 4th place schedule. The future is bright. Indeed, it is. The future most definitely is bright. It's as bright as it's been in a while. And you see the number there. If you're watching, 1,172 passing yards for Shuck in his final 4 games of the year. By the way, that is 295 yards, I believe, per game. Pretty impressive. Barry, looking forward to the membership details. Would have thought the Saints would have wound up with the best quarterback room in the NFC South division. Barry, I love you. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't think they have a better quarterback room than the Falcons. I mean, I know I don't want to hear that. But, I mean, they have Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins. I still think that those two combined are better than Shuck and Rattler. That's just my opinion. However, I'd rather be the Saints right now. They're obviously with Shuck. What we've seen is going to be able to. What is he going to do to the sophomore season? That's going to be interesting. Keeps thinking about Chuba Hubbard. Is he a free agent? Saints going to have to address running back in multiple ways. There's no question about it. Darryl, you and I both were hoping Morris would have gotten a 6-year extension, no doubt. Brian Cabot, good morning. Even in the loss, he's impressed with Shuck. Do people realize what he did yesterday? He almost brought an offense filled with backups to victory. If Smith hits that field goal, Saints win. If Shuck doesn't throw the pick, the Saints win too. So let's don't just blame it on Charlie Smith. Just saying. So look, again, I'm not trying to poo-poo on anything. I'm just letting y'all know. Okay. Here's where reality sets in. That pick was bad, man. You know, I had a friend of mine text me, Jawan Johnson, if he doesn't fumble, that whole game's different. I'm like, no, it's not. You know, we can't blame Jawan Johnson, and I'm glad that y'all aren't so far. Can't blame Jawan Johnson. You can't blame Charlie Smith. Tyler Shuck has just as much a part of it as anybody did. However, I'm going to give him a pass. Earl Russo, this time last year, no coach, no hope. In the immortal words of Horshack, he wants a membership. Is that how we did it? Yeah, we will have one, I promise. Memberships are coming. Jay Tucker Rafferty, Happy New Year. Totally agree on the Falcons' talents. All right, I'm going to come back to the comments, and I know I'm about 15 minutes behind. But I got to get to the dime, the final dime of the year. Now, I will intersperse some dimes here and there when I find it. You know, every now and then I find a reason to throw in a dime. And if you're new here, what is Derry's dime? Well, it is my scripted part of the show. It is the only scripted part I have for this show the entire week. Okay. And it is my commentary from what I saw usually from the Saints game, and this being the Saints finale, it is. And it's really more of a looking forward kind of thing than a looking back, although it's kind of all combined into one, right? So let's talk about it. For the first time in a long time, as the Saints were finishing up a loss to the hated Dirty Birds yesterday, I found myself wanting one more quarter, one more half, one more game, whatever it was. Even though there was no hope for the playoffs, and in the grand scheme of things, a loss wasn't the worst thing in the world, I just wanted more. What I got instead was reflection and a look ahead. So as I look back and forward, all at the same time, I see that I was wrong about Tyler Shuck. I am taking the label off that he could be the future at quarterback of this franchise. He is the future. Of course, there's always a chance he could regress. But every rational NFL fan would have to say that Shuck is the top of this 2025 NFL quarterback class. I don't care about the odds for Offensive Rookie of the Year, which we're going to get to in just a moment. The Saints saw what hardly any of us did, and for that, you have to give them props. They saw poise in the pocket and the knowledge of when to move. They saw accuracy while standing still and while running for his life. They saw his ability to scramble as well as almost anyone in the NFL not named Jackson or Allen. We already knew we need help on the offensive line, maybe as much as any team in the NFL. But we also were reminded that if you have a really good quarterback, you could sometimes forget how bad it is out front. And you could dream about what can happen if your team finds a way to get solid protection for their franchise quarterback. Even if you don't love the guy on another end of the spectrum, Chris Olave continued to prove why he's the number one receiver in this league and why he deserves $100+ million contract. What could the Saints have done with him yesterday? Would they have won the game? I think they might have. We also know that it will be a sad day when the Saints could say goodbye to Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara, but it needs to happen. And if this team has a chance to draft a guy like Jeremiah Love, it could be a franchise-changing kind of pick. On the other side of the ball, we saw a defense on the rise, one that arguably was top 10 over the last half of the season. Certainly, the pass rush was top 10. We saw why the organization paid the money to Chase Young and why they were so careful with him early in the season. We learned why incentive can make a couple of 36-year-old men play like they were 26 once again. And it's why we're all open, or most of us anyway, why we're open to Cameron Jordan and Demario Davis coming back next season. Those guys were rejuvenated with a new coaching staff. They look like different players. Brandon Staley might suck as a head coach, but he's one hell of a defensive coordinator. We have hope that Brian Brisset, Danny Stutzman, Quincy Riley, Jonas Sanker, that they all can be anchors for the future on that side of the ball. And last but not least, while Tyler Shuck was the most pleasant surprise this team has had since Alvin Kamara in 2017, the most improved person for the New Orleans Saints in 2025 was undoubtedly Kellen Moore. For the first half of the season, one had to question if this young coach was in over his head. I said it many times. By the final few games, it was clear the team had made the right decision, even if it just sort of fell in their lap. He seemed to grow with his second-round draft pick, pushing all the right buttons, even when there weren't a whole lot of buttons to press, as we saw yesterday. In other words, the future for this franchise is clearly bright. But I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. It's going to be a fun offseason for change, and I'm looking forward to talking about it with all of you. And I know you're going to come along for the ride. And that's my dime. You know, also, that I didn't throw in there, how about props for Mickey Loomis? I'm going to take a sip before I woo-saw here. I'm just going to say, this to me looks like the second really good draft in a row. I'm just saying. You might not want to hear it, but I can tell you what. Gabe, when's the last time we had someone bitch about Mickey Loomis? 2 months? Been a while. And that's all we heard in June, July, and August, and September is Mickey Loomis sucks. I haven't heard one Mickey Loomis sucks comment in months. Just saying. There's a reason why. He's not as bad as you think he is. And I was telling you before, if you want to give all the hate to Mickey Loomis when they stink, then you got to give him credit when things are going well. It works both ways. And he deserves the hate, a lot of the hate when they stink. He deserved a lot of the hate for putting him kicking the can down the road. That's his fault. That's as much his fault as anybody's. He kicked the can down the road. They stunk. We had to go through torture for 2 years. He kept Dennis Allen a year longer than he should have. He didn't want to fire him when basically Miss Gale told him he had to fire him. No question that was terrible decision making. But you got to give him credit too. Thumbs up credit. Someone type Mickey Loomis. Yeah, somebody will. But you got to give him credit when they do well. I'm just saying. And that's the first time I think that I've said Mickey Loomis in a long time where people didn't, where the numbers of people watching didn't just tank. Well, let's show that last one again, Gabe. I missed it. Can't do it. Lance can't do it, he says. He can't do it. Brian wants to know, for less rich folk, he hopes the subscription is affordable. Look, first of all, Brian, let me tell you, as I take 1 second to just tell you how it's going to work. Membership is not going to be required. Nothing's going to change, Brian. If y'all don't have for people that don't, it's going to probably be in the range of $10 to $15 a month, somewhere around there. I'm thinking 13. I don't know why I'm thinking 13's my lucky number. Yeah, I like Dan Marino too. So it's going to be somewhere along those lines. But that being said, you don't have to do it. You're not going to get, you'll get a few extra things as being a member, but really it's going to be the way to support the channel. And you can support the channel in other ways. You can give a super chat for $1 or $2 or whatever, or you can just keep watching. You don't have to give anything. I'm not changing that. Okay. I'm just letting you, I want everybody to know, if you can't afford to be a member or you don't want to pay to be a member, that's okay. You can still watch the show. It's still going to be free. It's going to be completely optional. This show is always going to be free, by the way. I am never going to make it to where you have to pay for it. It's going to be, if you want to pay for it, great. If you want to donate, great. But no, I'm not going to make anyone have to pay for it. I will never do that. I can promise you that. Apathy says, make Larry Holder come on and defend Aaron Glenn. You know, Apathy, it's funny you say that because when I was going through the clips, I don't remember. Did I put this in? Maybe I put it in the Daddy Awards. In fact, I think I did. But I definitely ran across that clip when he was the big Aaron Glenn defender, for sure. Hakeem says he thinks Bowles is 50. He's not getting fired. There's no way he's getting fired. Paul Laporte. I say no way. I can't. These days, I can't say no way about anything. So, is that. Paul Laporte, Justin Reed, Juwan Johnson, and Chase Young turned out to be excellent signings. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. No question. Tedders is here. Good morning from the frozen tundra of Massachusetts. Who that? Tedders, did I answer this before? What part of Massachusetts you're from? My sister lives just outside of Springfield. It's been a while since I've been up there. I got to get up there this summer. I keep saying I'm going to go spend some time in the summer up there. It is so much nicer in Massachusetts in the summer than it is here. And I haven't. We almost did it last year, but it didn't work out. So maybe I'll go do some. If she has a good enough internet, I don't even know who she has for internet. Maybe I'll go spend some time with my sister over the summer and do some shows from Springfield, Massachusetts. Callie, good morning. I'm trying to catch up to get current. I'm still like 20 minutes behind. Randall, good morning. It's officially LSU baseball season. Not for me, it ain't. Not till NFL's done. Sean wants Jeremiah Love with the 8th pick of the draft. You ain't the only one. Went too far. There we go. Merlin, just don't trade up. I'm going to say this. Normally, you know how much I hate trading up, but I got to say, I'm worried that the Commanders would take Jeremiah Love. This is how much I want him. And again, it's January. I may change my mind. From Brockton, 2 hours west of Maine. 2 hours west of, Springfield's 2 hours. Springfield can't be 2 hours west of you because it's in the western part of the state. But Brockton, I'll look at, and you know what? I'm so interested. I want to know where Brockton, Mass is. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up on live TV. I know y'all hate when I do this, but I just got to know. Okay, I see where it is. It's south of Boston. Okay. Gotcha. So you're east of Springfield. Gotcha. Wait, not that one. Going back to Maryland. Don't trade up. If that's what it takes to get Jeremiah Love, because you know what? I'm going to switch this slide right here. I want to talk about Offensive Rookie of the Year for a minute, but here's the top 12 picks. Raiders, obviously, we know are 1. If you're listening, I'm going to call them out. Jets are 2. And again, I'm barring trades, obviously. Cardinals are 3. Titans are 4. Giants are 5. Browns are 6. Commanders 7. 8. You know that. Your New Orleans Saints. The Chiefs are 9. The Bengals are 10. The Dolphins are 11. And the Cowboys are 12. A couple things that concern me. This is how bad I want Jeremiah Love for this team. This is how much I think he's a game changer. I am worried, about if you look at the teams ahead of them, I don't think the Raiders, Jets, Cardinals, or Titans are going to take a running back. Titans could, I guess, but I doubt it. They have way too many other things they need. Giants, I don't think are going to take a running back. Browns, definitely not going to take a running back. So what worries me is that the Commanders would take a running back. I could see Jeremiah Love going that early. It seems a bit early, but maybe. But I'm going to tell you another thing that worries me. The Chiefs. Remember when they moved up and sniped the Saints out of Patrick Mahomes? Andy Reid knows that the Saints need a running back more than they need anything else. I could see the Chiefs making a deal with the Commanders or Browns or something like that and moving up a couple spots and getting a guy like that. I know they got Isaiah Pacheco, but he's been banged up a lot. And I'm telling you, I think this kid is a franchise-changing kind of dude. That's why I would not be upset if the Saints moved up maybe 2 spots to the Browns. What would you have to give up, though? Probably have to give up. Obviously, you'd have to give up this one. But would you have to give up a future one, Gabe, to move up 2 spots? No? I don't know. We got a long time before we get there. Hakeem says kicker should be in now. You like Smith, but he's missed about 4 kicks. You can't. They're not going to go get a kicker. I can tell you right now. I'd be very surprised if the Saints They definitely need a punter before they need a kicker. Oh, by the way, Hakeem also says cornerback, wide receiver, another safety. I mean, it just goes to show. Look, as much as you love this team and as much as you have hope for the future, don't get me wrong. I'm as hopeful for this team. Maybe not for next year. You know, I asked, and I saw there were some comments. I didn't get to them all. I did a short this morning, and in case you missed it, of the Saints' schedule for next year, their 26th schedule. We'll get to that in a minute. And I asked for comments on predictions of what you thought the Saints would be next year, judging by that schedule. Schedule's a lot tougher next year. In fact, I got a slot for it. I'll just throw it up there. I'm sorry if that type's a little bit small for you, but at home, let's start with the road. If you missed my short, you can go back and watch it. I asked you for your prediction on it, and I've got all kinds of 10-7s and 9-8s and 8-9s. And that's probably in the ballpark. But this schedule is tougher than they've had in the past few years, especially their road schedule. I mean, of course, you play the three division teams home and away. But here's their road schedule for non-division opponents. Now, the good thing is they have 9 home games and 8 road games unless they send the Saints on the road. And we saw Jeff Duncan report last week that the Saints are most likely not going to Paris next year, which means there's a good chance they won't have to go to Europe. We'll see. I don't know. We can't rule it out yet. But if they're going to send the Saints to Paris in a year or two, then they probably wouldn't send them to Europe next year. But I don't know. We'll see. But assuming they don't go to Europe, they'll have 9 home games and 8 road games. They screwed them, year before last? 3 years ago. They sent them to London to play the Vikings. But so again, if you can't see this or it's too small or you're listen to the pod after the fact, the Saints, besides the division opponents, have to go to Chicago, Detroit, the Giants, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. And other than the Giants, who will probably be better next year, that is a tough 5-game stretch on the road. I mean, all those games. A home is a little bit easier, but there are some tough ones in there too. Obviously, Green Bay, we know they're going to be better again next year. Minnesota, they're clearly going to be better. I mean, there's no question Minnesota's going to be better next year. I don't know who their quarterback's going to be. Is it going to be McCarthy? Maybe they move on from McCarthy. I don't know. Arizona's going to have a new coach. They probably won't be that great. Is Cleveland going to be better? Who's their new coach? Okay, well, Cleveland's not going to be better. Pittsburgh, who's going to be their quarterback in Las Vegas. So the home schedule is clearly easier than the road schedule. But how many wins do you see on that schedule? 8, 9, maybe 10? Gabe says, by the way, he thinks the Chiefs need O-line help over everything else. Maybe. But maybe they think the same thing I do. Maybe they think that Jeremiah Love is a franchise-changing kind of guy, and that's who they want. We'll see. Brian says Michael Penix is a good man, but he's an injury waiting to happen. What's the over-under on ACL tears with him in the next 5 years? You know, I know you're kind of joking, laughing about that, and he got hurt, but look, again, I'm not trying to poo-poo anything. I'm just telling you the way that it is. Shuck had an injury history in college. If they don't fix this offensive line and get him some help, he's not going to make it 17 games without getting hurt. Just not. You got to be realistic, in my opinion. What else we got here going on this morning as we start moving on? Who Dat Daddy's here. Good morning, Dattitude family. The future is bright. It is bright. Dylan Smith says that Shuck never looks shook. Throws an interception, comes right back down the field, and a tutty. We could have easily won that game. The interception kind of ended the real hope of winning the game. But absolutely, 100%. You got to love that. I think Randall wrote this on a comment on the short. You absolutely have to love the fact that he followed that interception up with a drive right down the field. A-Town, good morning. When's Coach Gucci getting the axe? I don't think he is. I think they're keeping Coach Gucci, which means he'll get fired in the middle of next year. Lance says he'll take a wide receiver corner in the second and an interior offensive lineman in the third. But for the love of Cabildo, do whatever you have to do to get Jeremiah Love. Yeah, I agree. Kyle Sherman, who is better, Ruiz or Radens? All I know is that we shouldn't draft any offensive lineman with R, U, and Z in their last name. They were both very poor. Wednesday, I'm not going to do this on live TV because I know y'all hate this, but Wednesday, I will give you their final ratings and tell you where Radens and Ruiz rank among the other offensive linemen in the NFL, at least interior guards. Lance says he thinks we're okay at wide receiver. Take one in the third. I don't think we're okay at wide receiver. I'm not saying I want one early. Now, if Love's gone, I would not be upset if they took a wide receiver in the first round. If Love is gone. No doubt. Yeah, Lance, you're right. Mickey dodged the bullet with Aaron Glenn. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Let's see what else we got. Earl's picks. They're not going to give Kubiak a head coach job yet. You would think maybe after next year. I don't know. Look, Kubiak did a fine job. Okay. I don't. Raines. Gabe looked it up for me. Raines was 75th out of 82 guards. Wow. I know y'all going to be shocked to hear this, but Ruiz was not in the bottom quarter of guards. He was just above the bottom quarter. 60th of 82. That's bad. But, I mean, it's not as bad as I thought. I thought it would be worse than that. Anyway, back to Kubiak. We'll see what the Seahawks do. And I just don't know, man. I'm getting ready to talk offensive rookie of the year, and I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but I got a couple more comments to get to. Paul Haley, good morning. Glad you're here. Enjoyed dinner this past weekend. Happy offseason. High hopes for the Saints going forward. At least we have Mardi Gras to help soften the blow. I'm looking forward to Mardi Gras. I'm going to have a lot of fun this Mardi Gras. He also says our biggest offseason need is some personality. Kellen Moore in the post-game pressers. Great coach, high hope. And that's what I didn't say in the dime. I couldn't agree more with that part of it. I hope as he grows, and I don't know if this changes all that much, though. You are who you are. I don't think you're ever going to see him get out pissed off at anything. I mean, I don't know. UBN wants to know, will a membership include a special room for him to talk whether an NFL conference realignment? Inside joke, sort of. No, it won't. You do that enough as it is. What else we got before I start moving on? Ryan says, do I think the team handled Shuck correctly? Should he have started earlier? Good question. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. I think it worked out exactly the way that it was supposed to work out. And the reason why I say that is this. If you didn't hear me say this last week, I know there are a lot of people who are saying and as we move on, I'm going to show in just a second, I'm going to show you the offensive rookie of the year odds. The reason why I think it was the right move now looking back, and look, I was out there saying Shuck should start week 1, and I was wrong. I think looking back in hindsight is 2020, but I think it was I think they did it the right way. I think that Tyler Shuck sitting and learning and avoiding that brutal first part of the schedule was the right thing to do for him. I think that we don't know what could have happened. If he comes in and plays and the Saints have the same record, or even if they have one more win, what does that do to his confidence? Not only that, I don't think any of us could possibly know what he learned from Kellen Moore and Doug Nussmeier and the staff and Tolzien and whatever, those first 9-10 weeks of the year on the bench. I don't think any of us could possibly know what he learned. And I think it worked out the right way. This is my opinion. James Choctaw says, can we agree Olave's blood clots instantly disqualify him? Absolutely not. For a new contract. Derek Thomas died with the same condition. Do we really give this healthy liability a contract? I mean, you 100%. If he's cleared to play, you 100, not 99.9, you 100% give him a contract. I mean, especially if you get him for like $27 million a year. 27 mil or less a year, 100%. 27 to 29, 95%. Over that, then you have to think about it. I don't think he's worth $30 million a year. I hear you. I'm not dissing on you. But you're asking me my opinion. In my opinion, I hear. Look, there are people just don't want Chris Olave. They don't think he's a wide receiver. There are people. You notice nobody's really saying it the last few weeks. That's all I heard for weeks and weeks. And then he proved why he's a number one. I think him with Shuck, as they start to figure each other out. Look, is health a concern for Chris Olave? Absolutely, it is. I understand the concern. 100%, it's a concern. But he's earned the right to be the wide receiver one in this team. And by the way, it doesn't matter what any of us think. I'd be shocked if they don't give him the contract. Again, barring if some doctor comes out and says, I'm sure he's going to get the once over. He's not going to risk his life. I mean, although Tua risked more concussions and he came back when he probably shouldn't have. Obviously, those concussions affected him in his career. So I hope he gets checked out and I hope he gets double checked. But if he gets the okay and the Saints get the okay, he's your wide receiver one. Christopher Crum, sorry about that. Christopher Crum, proud of them boys. Can't wait for next year. Who dat? Absolutely. Go ahead and show the one you just showed. Leavitt, got to be back now. He and Chuck are cooking. Do you smash a knife before the battle? I mean, really? Mal wants to know, am I going to have Doug on the show during the offseason? 100% Doug's going to be on the show. In fact, I am going downtown or to the French Quarter tomorrow. I am going to be on a podcast with Doug and Ross Jackson tomorrow evening. I'm glad you brought that up. Doug asked me yesterday. So I know it's been a little bit since Doug's been on the show. I don't think he's going to be my Wednesday guest, but he could be. I don't know who my Wednesday guest is yet. We'll see. But so, yeah, I'll give you more information on that. I'll certainly put the link up on X. But yes, I'm going on. It's going to be about a 45-minute show with Ross Jackson and Doug Mouton tomorrow evening. I'm not sure exactly. I don't think it's a live show. So I'll let you know when it runs, and I'll give you a link to it, and y'all can go check it out. Let's see here. Lance is also worried that the Commanders draft love. That is the number one worry. And again, I don't want to trade up, but I would be willing to go up 2 spots or so to get ahead of them. Got to get them. It's what the world needs now. Love, sweet love. Yeah, I just sang on the air. Saints, what the Saints need now. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. Montreal. Who dat, baby? Glad you're here. Okay, let's get to offensive rookie of the year. Who are my Super Bowl picks? That's coming up, James. We're going to do that in a little bit. We're going to give you a preview of what's coming up of our picks. Jimmy, what's going on? You screaming who dat next year just to piss off UBN. It's always fun to piss off UBN. Brian Obear wants to send Dennis Allen to Atlanta. That is the comment of the day, my friend. Just like we have a dumbass of the week, I need to have a comment of the day. We need to have some confetti or something. Rob's here. Good morning. If Ruiz wasn't in the bottom quarter, there must be some real turnstiles out there, man. No kidding. A-Town wants to know, am I throwing Dattitude, Mardi Gras cups at Endymion? No. I don't think that you're not supposed to. You're actually not supposed to do that. They get mad when you do that kind of stuff. Although I'm really thinking this might be my last year in Endymion. We'll see. And lastly, before I get to offensive rookie of the year odds, Jason Benson says, when you're bracketed, double covered, or no number one corner is always on you and still making plays, hitting the century mark, you're a number one, deserve your payday. Absolutely. Okay, after Shaheed was gone, who was even close to Chris Olave on this team? Nobody. So obviously he's getting double covered. He's getting the number one guy every single time, and he kept doing his thing. Oh, yeah, Montreal, you're right. Atlanta fired their coach and GM, and they don't have a first-round draft pick. Their first-round draft pick belongs to the Los Angeles Rams. I think they picked 13th. All right. Let's get to, before we move on this morning, did you see, we asked a question in a short yesterday, is Tyler Shuck the offensive rookie of the year? And I'm surprised I didn't get a lot of this earlier. It looks like he's played his way out of it. And I'm going to put the odds on the screen here. Ted McMillan, they know something, okay? I didn't think they would change this much, but they apparently did. Ted McMillan is now minus 1,000, which means you would have to bet $1,000 to win 100. So he's 1 to 10 that he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, I had some people upset, and look, like I made these odds. I didn't make these odds draft. These are odds of DraftKings. I have nothing to do with these odds. These are what the odds are. Would I throw money on someone else? I mean, Tyler Shuck is now 4th behind Travion Henderson and Jackson Dart at plus 1,500. And it's going up. After the game yesterday, it was at plus 1,000. Then it went to plus 1,100. It was plus 1,100 before I went to bed. I woke up this morning, it was plus 1,500, which means no one's betting on Tyler Shuck to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Doesn't look like he's going to have a chance to win it. And I'm going to throw this out there. I know people, we keep it real on this show. I'm going to tell you why I would vote for Shuck, okay? Probably letting my bias get in a little bit here. However, I completely understand why McMillan's the favorite. When you're a rookie playing with Bryce Young as your quarterback, who's obviously struggled, I still think Bryce Young has a chance to be a decent quarterback in this league. I know most of you don't. But whether he does or doesn't, the fact is, he did not have a good year. And other than Rico Dowdle, the Panthers really didn't have a whole lot of offensive weapons. I mean, Chuba was okay. He missed part of the year with injury. But Ted McMillan, as a rookie, came in and caught, I don't know, I was 90-something passes, I believe. If you want to tell me, Gabe, you can. But I know it was I know he had over 1,000 yards receiving. Now, in this day and age, 1,000 yards receiving isn't the end-all, be-all. But still, if you're a rookie and you catch you get 1,000 yards receiving, you're having a pretty good year. Is it better than Shuck? I don't know, but Shuck only played half a year. And here's the numbers. Gabe gives them to me. 70 catches for 1,014 yards and 7 touchdowns. Great? No. Very good, not great. Shuck played 9 games. Well, he played in 10, but he started 9 games and he was 5-4. Was he the best quarterback of the bunch? I think he was. And I'd also go as far to say that if I had to tell you who I thought the second best quarterback was, I think it was Cam Ward. But yet Dart is ahead of Shuck now. Gabe says those numbers rank. The receptions 34th, yards tied for 15th, touchdowns tied for 14th in the league. I mean, 34th isn't any good. So I'm not necessarily defending Ted McMillan. I'm just telling you why that the odds have changed like they have changed. And that is, look, he's going to win it, okay? Vegas doesn't put numbers up like that if he's not going to. Don't waste your money in betting on someone else. There's no value betting on someone else. Earl says he thinks Shuck should be the rookie of the year, but he won't be. Again, I would probably vote for Shuck if I had a vote. I don't. Charles doesn't get why Dart. I mean, because Dart and Shuck were basically what, and Dart beat the Cowboys yesterday. It's not going to be Dart either. Tom is here. Good morning. Close the books on 2025 with a smile. Who dat? Absolutely. 100%. Apathy, poor Carolina. They get playoff Stafford. Yeah, they sure do. Charles says Young and Penix are the same. They had, oh no. Penix is better than right now. I don't know about that. Jason says this is a long one, so I'm going to read it for those of you who are listening after the fact. We've had no primetime games. Nobody's watching him until a week ago. I mean, nobody was really even talking about him until a week or two ago. The kid just hasn't had the national platform long enough to get Rookie of the Year. I think that's a good, solid point. We have been watching him grow and perform week in and week out. He's our Rookie of the Year and quarterback of the future. That's an excellent comment, Jason. I think that's a great way to put it. Again, I understand why the national voters are voting for Tetairoa McMillan. You look at straight numbers, and 70, 1,014 or 1,012 and 7 are greater than Shuck's numbers in 9 games. And not only that, Shuck's total average is somewhere along the lines of, it's like right around 220 yards a game. Now, if you go by just the last 4 games of the year, it was 295 yards a game. And doing it with nobody. So if you just take the last quarter of the year, there's no question that Shuck is the offensive Rookie of the Year. However, over the course of a season, it's tough to give it to somebody who, I mean, playing 9 games out of 17 or starting 9 games out of 17, you would have to overwhelmingly be better than the other person you're up against, and you're just not. So I think the odds makers, I can't blame them at all. I really can't. Quovada says, I'm glad we won the 4th place schedule next year. If there's any consolation of finishing last, is the schedule. That is a consolation prize. She thinks we'll be the strongest team in the NFC South next year. I think there's a good chance. Sean said with Jalen Polk, Bob Means, and Trey Palmer on the roster, I think it's most likely the Saints wouldn't draft a wide receiver in the first round. I think that, if they don't get Love, I think the top candidates are either offensive line or wide receiver, and then edge rusher comes into play. But if they're going to sign Cam, they're going to re-sign Cam, and I think there's a good chance they do. And they have Granderson. I don't know, man. I don't think you go. I don't think you draft. I don't want to see him draft defense. I don't know. Again, give me a couple months to think about that. Hakeem says he thinks we'll get 3 primetime games next year because of the hype, and I think one will be against Atlanta either on Sunday night or Monday night next year. I don't know, man. They're really chintzy with the Sunday night games. I don't know if the Saints are going to get a Sunday night game at 6 and 11 in Atlanta. I could see the Saints in Atlanta being on Monday night. I don't think they're going to be on Sunday night. Now, let's go back to this next year's schedule. I'm going to show it real quick. Now, I could potentially see them playing a Sunday night game at home against like a Green Bay, maybe. I could see them on the road against the Detroit, maybe, or even a Chicago. And I could see a Thursday night game. Couldn't you see Saints Browns on a Thursday night? Absolutely. Shuck versus Shador. Well, we're assuming it's Shador. It might not be Shador. I mean, it might be Dylan Gabriel, or they might draft somebody. Who knows? But I absolutely can do it. Lance says Saints Giants. No way. Saints Giants primetime? No. Come on, Lance. By the way, Mark, I'm not showing troll and comment. No more. You can put troll and comments in there. This is the last time I'm going to tell you this, by the way. Mark, I'm not showing any more troll and comments. I know, you don't mean that, and you're just trying to spark some crap. I'm not showing that stuff anymore. It's not. And that's the last time I'm saying it. Jason says we need a best available skill position, offensive playmaker, no matter the position, in the first round. I semi-agree. I definitely don't say no matter the position, and I can't say no matter what. Rob says if they have to play big market teams at home, they may get a national game. Oh, they're going to get a national. I would be floored if the Saints aren't in primetime at least once. I'd say it's likely twice, maybe 3. Gabe says 3. I mean, when you finish the way the Saints finished and with the hype, and they'll especially if they get like a Jeremiah Love and they're super hype on a draft pick, yeah, you're probably going to get 3. I'll come back to that. Daryl, I'm truly excited. We don't have to put up with the Sanders debate crap nor the Rattler versus Shuck competition. You won't have that. Lance says Dart versus Shuck on a Thursday. If the Giants look good, it'd be flexed Sunday or Monday. They don't flex Thursday games. I'm pretty sure that you can't flex a Thursday game. So that would not happen. And they're not going to flex a Giants Saints game. I mean, that would have to be. They would both. The chances of them both being super surprises next year are slim. Let's be realistic. I mean, I think that both of those teams could be better next year. I mean, I'd be surprised if the Saints aren't better than 6 wins at this point. I mean, what do we think they're over? I mean, if I had to guess what the Saints over under is going to be, again, this is not knowing who their draft pick will be, that I'm guessing 8.5. 7.5 or 8.5, one of the two. And the Giants are going to probably be 6.5. You're not going to put an over under 6.5 team against the over under 8.5 team on a Sunday night. You're just not going to do that. You're much more likely to have Saints Falcons on a Monday night. Again, Thursdays are different, but again, I could absolutely see if they think Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback, Shuck versus Sanders on a Thursday. To me, that would be because Cleveland's going to get it at least the Thursday game. I think. Scott Clement or Claymont? I think I've asked you this before and I forgot. I mean, good Lord, I keep calling Trinidad Chambliss Trinidad Hubbard, so I'm certainly not sure if I know or not pronounce your name right. Scott Claymont Clement says Love needs to be the pick of available. Kamara is done. I think we can, well, not all of us, but I think most of us agree that Kamara's done, right? I mean, you got to let him go. And look, again, for those of you who don't know, if you cut Kamara in a post June 1 cut, you save $8.5 million in the salary cap. Now you pay for $8.5 million the year after that. The Saints are going to be in really good shape, barring something silly 2 years from now. They're in good shape this offseason, believe it or not. They're in really good shape going into the 2027 season. I think you absolutely have to. Mally Mal says it is the French Français. Annonciation de France. De Français. It is Claymo. Mally Mal would like Cam Jordan back next year. I got to be honest. I never thought I would say this, but so would I. I think he thrived in this system, and you play him maybe just a little bit less. You play him half the snap. I don't know what I'm going to go find out what his snap percentage was this year. But, I mean, yeah. Mark wants to know, do I prefer home Saints games or afternoon starts? Early home. Absolutely 100% either noon or prime time. I absolutely abhor 3 p.m. starts at home. Can't stand them. I mean, I'm okay with prime time because you still have the whole day to watch football and do whatever, but I can't stand 3 o'clock starts in the dome. Sean says that the Saints would have won yesterday. Shuck would have won Rookie of the Year. I don't think so, and I'm going to tell you why, Sean. Going into yesterday, Shuck Teterow was already starting to pull away. McMillan was like like minus 450, I think, and Shuck was like plus 400. So I don't think so. Kyle Sherman says Thursday game locked, maybe flex late in the year if both teams are contending. I think they're going to. I think 2 is the minimum. Yeah, UBN, you're right. Zach Morris is going to Arizona with AC Slater. I think that's a good chance that's true. Nobody who didn't watch the beginning of the show knows what the hell we're talking about. Rob also says, will be Cam willing to stay here? Yeah, 100%. I don't think Cam's going to play anywhere else. I think, unlike Kamara, who I think potentially could play 1 year somewhere else, I think Cam's either going to play here or he's going to play nowhere. That's my guess. Apathy. Why did the Saints have so many games on CBS this year? CBS is awful because that's the way that the NFL does it now. It's not the way that it used to be. It's not the NFC is on Fox and the AFC is on CBS. They don't do it that way anymore. I mean, it's still based. The NFC is still based on Fox and the AFC is still based on CBS, but they changed it a couple years ago and they actually extended it. I do not agree with this at all, Gabe. I don't think so. The only thing I think CBS is better at than Fox is their graphics. I still can't stand the Fox graphics. Other than that, I'd rather Fox. Anyway, so the answer is it's going to happen. And I can tell you that y'all asked me about Doug Mouton earlier. The people at WWL are thrilled that the Saints are on CBS at least 4 to 6 times a year. Now, with the fact that the Saints are better, they may not play as many CBS games next year because basically what happens is they start giving the leftovers to the other network. So, anyway. Okay. Oh, wow. I'm surprised at this. This is Cam numbers. How many snaps? Cam played 553 snaps, which was 50th out of 201 edge rushers. That's actually more than I thought he played. So let's do quick math here. He did not get hurt. He did not miss a game, which is interesting. Oh, I don't think he missed a game. That means he played 32 and a half snaps. That's a lot. For 32 and a half snaps a game. That's definitely something I wouldn't have told you. All right, we're going to be moving on here. Again, I'm going to wrap up the show with the Saints, but there are some other things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the NFL. I want to talk about LSU a little bit here, and we've got about 20 minutes left in the show. I want to talk about the playoffs kind of. Playoffs? Yep, I want to talk about playoffs. We told you earlier that we will let you know more about how Evangeline Securities can help you figure out what your family-run or privately held business might be worth and whether it's time to sell. How do they do it? Well, what a question. Y'all are brilliant. After their complimentary valuation of your company, if you decide to proceed, native New Orleanian Nick Braden and the folks at Evangeline, they'll begin an extensive auction process from among established private equity funds from around the whole wide world. That's right. They'll maximize the return for the founder and his or her family. Evangeline Securities, the top producer on their platform. There are very few companies like them in this area, and none with their dedication and success 0.0. They're fully licensed. They're ready to serve you. So get in touch with Nick and Ron about what's really important. And it's not whether the Saints are on CBS or on Fox. You know what's really important? The rest of your life. You can find them at www.evangelinesecurities.com. We're going to start Gabe Henderson out with this comment. Lance says, the Texans got lucky yesterday. You feel bad for the kicker.
How'd they get lucky?
I don't know.
They played their backups the entire second half and still won. That's not luck.
I'll figure we'd fire you up. Tom says Chris Myers called play-by-play yesterday. He's no Jim Henderson, but he is formerly from WWL. He is. He's pretty good. Schlareth Center, though. Oh, Lord. Tom, Schlareth didn't care whether the Falcons or Saints won. I know I'm not a big Schlareth fan either, but he definitely.
I cannot believe there are people out there who prefer Fox to CBS coverage for the NFL.
I am.
Why?
Again, I just think their announcers are better. I think everything they do is better.
God, no. Drew Brees is on Fox.
Deal.
Oh, he's an awful color commentator.
I don't like hardly any of the CBS color commentators except for I like Romo.
Did you get to listen to JJ Watt this year? This isn't just me as a Texan.
I'm not a fan.
JJ Watt's fantastic at color commentary.
Part of it too, also, and here's the reason why, and you can say no. I know you're going to say no to this because you always say no when I say shit like this. I mean, part of the reason why I probably like Fox better is the same reason why I like CBS back in the day. I mean, the NFC, I'm an NFC guy, and that's basically Fox is based on NFC. You're an AFC guy because the Texans play in the AFC. Mm-hmm. So you're used to seeing more of CBS. I'm used to seeing more of Fox. So we have a little bias inside of there.
Yeah, apathy's right.
And apathy, you're right. Kevin Harlan's fantastic. I definitely agree that Kevin Harlan is outstanding. He always has been.
Yeah. I think my biggest reason that I like CBS more than Fox NFL coverage is the accessibility. I don't know if you've ever tried to use the Fox Sports app. It is awful. It's terrible. It's unusable.
I do use the CBS Sports app, but that doesn't. Yeah.
The Paramount Plus app is so much easier to use.
Oh, no, I don't use either one of those.
So Well, as someone who does, that's the main reason I prefer CBS.
Yeah, I don't use Fox Sports app. I don't use none of the networks apps. I mean, I have YouTube TV. I don't have a reason to.
Yeah,
Jason says,
when on my main TV, I'm watching Red Zone.
Lance says you didn't want to see Lamar.
No, I didn't.
I mean, Sean wants to know, do I see Rattler and Haener on the 2026 final 53-man roster? I would be shocked if Rattler is not on it, and I would be shocked if Haener is on it. Haener's not going to be on it. Haener's done. He dressed out in black and gold for the last time yesterday. Jason, I'm not sure what Jason's talking about here. He says, don't speak ill of Gabe.
I said Drew Brees sucks as a color guy. He does. He's horrible.
I mean, you could
one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Terrible at color.
Yeah, I mean that's now they're going to defend their Drew.
Yes, he is.
He said Drew is an awful. He feels like that's a meme at this point because he was terrible calling college games. I will say he's better doing NFL games, but he's still not good. And if he wasn't Drew Brees, he wouldn't be on. Charles says Fox is better. NBC's the worst. I like NBC. I love Tirico and Collinsworth. I'm a huge fan of Tirico and Collinsworth. I know people don't like Collinsworth because everybody thinks Collinsworth hates their team. It's so funny.
I think
you're doing a good job when
from that. I think it's now that anytime Collinsworth can find an excuse to bring up Mahomes, he does.
Well, that's kind of true. But he's got a man crush on Mahomes. Who doesn't? I mean, he's also got a man crush on Lamar Jackson too. So what? I get it. Musette says she thinks the Giants could be primetime because of Dart versus Shuck. I think the Giants are going to get like one primetime game, and I don't think it's going to be the Saints. It's going to be like Dallas or Commanders or something like that. Really? And Ryan says, see, Fox is more nostalgic, fam. Always like their pregame crew. I also like their pregame. I can't watch CBS's pregame show at all.
No, I think they're both. I can't watch any of them. I think they're all awful.
Yeah, I mean, I
can't watch Terry Bradshaw in the booth.
I actually like I like NFL Network pregame show. That's what I would probably watch more than anything. I've always been a Rich Eisen fan, and I like the other. I like Mooch. He makes it fun. Hakeem says Burkhart, Greg Golson, Joe Davis, Jonathan Vilma, Kenny Albert are really good commentators.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Kevin Harlan, Andrew Catalan, Ian Eagle. I mean, we can go name for name.
I like Ian Eagle. I'm not saying I dislike Ian Eagle is really good.
Yeah, no, I know.
And as a play-by-play guy, Jason says he loves Collinsworth, one of the best to do it in today's game. I mean, I really do. I agree. All right. I do not like Brady. I don't.
Brady, okay. Here's the thing with Brady.
Maybe growing on me a little bit, but.
If Brady's analysis is good, he doesn't have the voice for.
He doesn't. You're right.
He really doesn't. It just sounds nasally. Yeah, it's too nasally.
That's kind of bothers me. All right. A couple things I want to talk to you about this morning. First off, let's talk about LSU football for just a minute. Sam Leavitt is to visit. I got that name right? I did say Sam Leavitt correctly. Okay, good. I just don't want to screw up. I've been screwing up quarterbacks and coaches' names all morning, in case you missed it. Sam Leavitt to visit the Tigers today. It sounds to me, again, we kind of jumped the gun a little bit on the Hornsby kid who's now going to Texas Tech.
Well, we didn't. 24/7 did.
Okay, but it's
called him to LSU.
I think at this point you would say it'd almost be a surprise now with the announcements. It's how it's playing out that if Leavitt didn't go to LSU, right?
I don't know, because there were rumors that he was in talks over a $5 to $7 million NIL deal with Kentucky and new coach Will Stein. So we'll see. I don't
think it's going to Kentucky.
No, yeah. If you're looking at it, LSU.
I mean, you can go play for Lane. I mean, I don't like Lane Kiffin, but you can go play for Lane Kiffin in a playoff contender. You can go to Kentucky, who's going to have a new coach.
I do wonder if Leavitt does choose to go elsewhere. I wonder where LSU turns, because Hoover's now at Indiana.
I don't know, man. They're going to be in a tough spot. I think Lane Kiffin is so damn lucky. I just think it's going to happen.
In Virginia, so
I think it's going to happen.
I do too.
Lucky. He really is. He's so lucky. Hakeem says Moose is good. Okay, Moose is all right. Romo is really good as a color person. I think he's fantastic. Quo says she always liked Nance and Phil Simms together. And then Sean wants to know I want to talk about LSU for a minute, but do I see Cam going to Denver? No, I don't. I think Cam is Saints or nothing. It's Saints or bust. Now I hope the Saints don't insult him and offer him like $2 million a year. And then who knows, maybe just say piss off and go somewhere, but we'll see. Ray says, hope 26 is a better year for the Tigers. I don't see how it can't be a better year. So anyway, what else should you take as far as LSU goes? I had high hopes like 3 days ago. I thought they were going to get all these players in the portal, and maybe not as much now. I don't know.
They've just all got a visit. They got a good receiver out of Hawaii the other day. I believe he was joint top of the nation in receptions of 60+ yards. So there's your boomer bust guy that you're waiting on.
And Scott Claymore is right. He says one commitment in the portal so far, need to move faster. I mean,
you can't. It opened the other day, and they've got to visits, and they couldn't take visits until Monday until Saturday, I think.
Which is still very weird to say, by the way. Yeah. Very, very odd to say.
So I mean, it's not that they're moving slowly.
Rocky wants to know if he becomes a member, can he go back to typing in all caps? Rock, if you're a member, you can go back to typing out in all caps. One Smoke says LSU offense is gutted. They got a lot to add.
Well, they did add something today. They've already added Racine Guillory.
Okay, 1 carry for 4 yards.
So here's the thing. So he redshirted this year.
Okay.
And after I looked up the 1 carry for 4 yards, I was like, where's the interest in this guy coming from? He was recruited by Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss out of high school. He attended Alito, which is one of the most prestigious programs in the state of Texas, won a state championship there.
Okay.
In his 2 years playing varsity football, he had 320 carries for 2,559 yards.
In Texas?
So he averaged 8 yards a carry.
Okay, that's not a ton of carries there for 2. I guess it's all right. That's like less than 15 carries a game. That's weird.
Yeah, well, when you average 8, that'll happen. Average 8 yards a carry.
Yeah, but that's not okay.
And then he had 42 touchdowns.
No, that's good.
And that's just rushing. Receiving,
I mean, hopefully that's a guy that just asking for to be like a complimentary.
Yeah, we all know who the feature back's going to be next year for LSU.
Yeah. Chad Shedler says Collinsworth is the NFL equivalent to Gary Danielson. Horrible. Well, I like both of those guys.
Not horrible.
I like both of those guys. Again, another guy that everyone thinks Collinsworth hates the Saints. Everyone thought Gary Danielson hated LSU, which is both.
Did you see what they did with Gary Danielson's final sign off? No,
I heard that he was retiring, but I did not see.
He was in the middle of this emotional sign off, and they cut him off to go to commercial.
Oh, come on!
Cut off the feed in the middle of it to go to commercial.
I'm just gonna say, as a play-by-play guy, I've been working with the same director for the last 5 years, and every now and then I don't have him like because he'll have some other obligation, and when I get some other director and someone cuts me off. You know what the words that I use to you on the Daddy Award that you got? It makes me want to say something like that.
Yeah,
I did say to one young guy who cut me off, and is a young guy. I'm like, I literally said, "Don't ever cut me off again." I don't want to sound like an asshole, but don't. I mean, if my own guy does it, it's fine. If you were running, which very rarely happens. But
can you imagine after like 35 years at the same network being cut off? Oh my!
No, goodness. That's awful. That's what I'm saying. That's awful. That's awful. Kyle Sherman says Fox has real chemistry in the pregame. Excellent production staff, likable guys. Kyle is a little biased because Kyle worked for Fox Sports in the college division, but I mean, again, I'm biased, and I've always, I mean. Fox has been the home in the NFC since CBS had to give it up in 95-ish, 96-ish, somewhere around there.
Longer than I've been alive.
Fox completely changed the way, by the way, the NFL was on TV. It was done. They came up with the Fox box, and Fox is like completely innovative. I'm just saying. Apathy says Gary Danielson and Vernon Lundquist were cursed when LSU had those 230. I love that team. That's one of my favorite teams of all time. I'm just saying.
LSU didn't perform too badly on those games.
Yeah. Charles Mangus loves Ron Burgundy. Well, good, you got me. That's That's the incoming version of Monberg. All right, we got about 5 or 6 minutes left. I want to talk a little bit about NFL playoffs, which begin playoffs. They begin on Saturday. The Super Bowl odds came out this morning, and you'll see that the Seattle Seahawks, according to DraftKings, are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. I find the Rams odds absurd at plus 425, considering they are the 5 seed and they got to go on the road for the entire playoffs. You cannot bet. I don't care how much you think the Rams might win the playoffs. You cannot bet the Rams at plus 425. I just don't think you can bet the Seahawks at that price. I'm not trying to diss on the Seahawks. I don't think they're as good as they. I think they're good, but 3.5 to 1. That's kind of crazy. Give me 2 teams. If I gave you 100 fake bucks or 100 real bucks, and I told you right now. We're all about value in the show. I might tell you who I'm going to think we're going to win the Super Bowl, but first we're going to give you value. Give me your 2 value plays, and then I'll give you mine. You can be a homer if you want to.
I won't. I'll avoid being a homer.
Before you say it real quick, I'm just for those who are listening to the pod after, I'll try to go through them real fast. Broncos are plus 650, Eagles plus 950, Patriots 950, Bills are plus 1,000, Jags and Texans are both plus 1,300, Packers and Bears are both plus 2,200, 49ers and Chargers are both plus 2,800. Nobody's betting on the Steelers at plus 4,500, and give $1 to charity if you want to bet on the Panthers at plus 15,000. What you got?
Well, I don't want to steal your thunder. I think we both have at least one similar value pick, right?
I would think so.
One of the teams sitting there at 2,800.
That's not one of my top 2 value picks, but I absolutely will be. I 100% will put some money on the 49ers at plus 2,800.
Yeah,
I think that's a great value.
49ers at plus 2,800. Isn't it?
And again, when we say value, these aren't necessarily the teams that we think are going to win the Super Bowl. We're telling you what it's just like when I got Miami, the University of Miami, the U, 5 weeks ago when it looked like they weren't even going to make the college football playoffs, and I got them at 60 to 1. I didn't bet on them because I necessarily thought they were going to win the championship. I bet on them because I thought it was great value, and obviously now it turns out to be great value. And why the 49ers at plus 2,800 a good value right now.
Yeah, and there's some stat like every time they've made the playoffs or something, they've made the NFC Championship in a certain span. It's something crazy. So I just like the value on the 49ers there. And then the other value, this will kind of contradict what I said the other day. I like the Jags at plus 1,300. They've got home field. I think the Bills defense is really bad. And I think Liam Cohen, a smart offensive mind, can exploit that. And then they go up against a Patriots team, presuming both win, that would be in a similar spot as them in terms of experience. And I think they've just got a few more weapons. So I think those are my 2 value picks.
So you got Jags and 49ers, your 2 value picks.
Yeah.
My value picks, we got one of the same ones. And I like 49ers too, but UBN says Niners either missed the playoffs or go to the NFC Championship like the last 6 years. My 2 value picks, I don't know how you cannot think the Jaguars are not a value pick. 13 to 1. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but what I've seen over the last month, look, I gave Liam Cohen as much grief as anyone. I've given Trevor Lawrence grief since he got in the NFL. But you cannot deny, I'm not going to give him grief any longer, at least not right now. They may turn out to choke in the playoffs and stink up in the first round. But who do they get in the first round? The Bills, right?
The Bills. Yeah, the Bills.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. And I can tell you what, there's going to be a lot of money on the Bills in that game because it's pretty close to even. I think the Bills are a slight.
Bills are 1.5 point favorites, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, so there you go. It is telling me we've got a problem here streaming. So we're going to have to close up the we're going to have to wrap. We're having trouble streaming. It's just to Facebook.
Just to Facebook.
Okay, so we'll keep on going here for the people who are watching, and we are going to wrap it up soon. But I just think the Jaguars are a great pick in the AFC if they get past the Bills. Okay, and that's a big if. If they get past the Bills, okay, and you look in the second round, I think Jags at Broncos. They've already proven that they can beat the Broncos.
They wouldn't play the Broncos, would they?
They could.
They could because of the
not in the next
reseeding.
round. They could play in the AFC Championship. I'm
No,
just
they
saying
could,
that
because the NFL reseeds after
they reseed. Correct.
Yeah.
They
So
reseed.
the Jags could play.
If the Patriots won, the Jags could play the Broncos.
Well, no,
right?
if the Patriots
No, because it'd be
won, the Jags
Patriots
would have
Jags. Right.
That's what I.
But either way, I mean, I'm just saying if it was an AFC Championship game of Broncos Jags, I 100% would like the Jags.
Let me put it this way: do not bet the Broncos at plus 650.
Yeah,
that will be pissing away your money.
Oh, I completely agree. That's a terrible bet. Do not bet on the Broncos as much as you like. Let's go. In fact, let's look at some of these. I got a couple here. One Smoke likes the Eagles at plus 950. I don't disagree with that. Bills at plus 1,000. Bills plus 1,000. Look, if you think, I think the Bills are going to be a very popular pick at plus 1,000. Now, look, to start the season, they were like plus 550. So you're getting a value on them that now that they're actually in the play. But they have to go on the road. The Bills on the road in the playoffs, it hasn't worked out for them before.
And I know you're going to jokingly call me a homer. The Bills could be in trouble if the chips fall the right way. If all three of the wildcard teams win, which is very much in play. I'm not saying the Chargers can't go to New England to beat the Patriots.
Well, I will say this. I do like the Bills. If the Bills win this game, then they go to Denver, and I absolutely like the Bills over Denver.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is a potential nightmare scenario for them would be them going back to Houston, where Josh Allen is 0-3 or 0-4. So
I'm not laughing. I don't agree with you, but I'm not laughing.
No, I know.
I
don't think he's 100%, and I think that defense is way too bad.
If the playoffs are anything like this season, it's going to be insane. And I said it before the season, it's going to be somebody new this year. Already we don't have the Chiefs. I guess it's partly why I don't like the Bills. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be two different teams in the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be weird.
Yeah.
Mark says good value on the Patriots. Maybe. Earl says he likes the Jags, Bills, and Denver in the AFC. I wouldn't put.
You can't like the Jags and the Bills.
I wouldn't put $5 of your money, Earl, on the Broncos. I don't like the Broncos at all. Although defense travels, they don't have to travel though. I think they're going to lose to somebody. Apathy says Shanahan's fantastic when the Super Bowl arrives. I mean, it's going to be a weird one. Kyle says
the Niners at plus 2,800. You could hedge.
Kyle, I'm going to say this. I've been messing with Sam Darnold for a long time now. Darnold is not trustworthy in the playoffs. See Minnesota 2025. However, Sam Darnold kind of sucked even in Minnesota in the regular season, the last part, and they gave up the 1 seed to Detroit last year. He's not sucking right now. Mark says he thinks the Broncos lose their first game. If they play the Bills, I agree with you. Quo says she thinks it would be fun if the Steelers won the whole. I just can't. As much as I like Mike Tomlin, I love Mike Tomlin, but I just don't like that quarterback.
The Steelers are not going to win the whole thing.
She loves watching Aaron expressions on the sidelines. I don't think they have the talent to do it anyway. It looks like Watt is really. Something's not right with him, obviously. JGP Jr. Good afternoon and hello to the Hoonat Nation. 100%. Charles thinks the Patriots win it all. I don't know if there's enough value for me to bet on the Patriots, but wouldn't shock me if they did. Mal says that Texans defense can smother any offense. Scott Claymore says Jags and 49ers. Can't disagree with that. And Lance says every week we say, no, we don't. I know how much you love them Broncos. Every week we say the Broncos can't keep squeaking by, and it's a different world in the playoffs. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it's definitely a different world. Oh, it's Jerry. Jerry, I haven't talked to you in a long time. Where you been, Jerry? Welcome back. Glad to have you here. That's who JGP Jr. is. Glad to have you back.
Long time. YouTube.
Long time no see. Very happy to have you, Jerry. Jerry is a regular from way back in the day. Way back in the day. Glad to have you here. All right, final thoughts as we move on here this morning. Now that we've given our value picks, are you ready to give a Super Bowl pick, or you want to save it for Thursday?
We can save it for Thursday. My answer will be the same. I have no idea.
It's crazy, huh?
I genuinely have no idea.
It is crazy. It is really hard. It is really hard. Thoughts. All right. I can tell you that I don't think the Chargers, Steelers, or Panthers have any chance whatsoever. Okay. So
Okay.
you want to go by process of elimination? All right, we agree on that, right?
Yes.
I'm not trying to be mean, but I have
Lance,
seen.
that's okay. Before you
don't
go
think
on, let it be known. Lance is the one saying this, and I am disagreeing.
The Steelers get killed by the Texans. It should be illegal what's about to happen. Indictments will be handed out.
I am
don't
not
agree
saying
with that at all.
I'm not the one saying it.
I
The
don't
record
agree with
shows
that at
The
all.
Texans fan is not the one saying it.
I'm just going to say they made that line. Right now, the Texans are a 3-point favorite on the road. I think they overplayed that. And I think even though they overplayed it, I still think the Texans are going to be super. Well, how do you do it, Gabe?
Where?
It's going to be super square. Nobody's going to bet on Pittsburgh.
Let me look while you're talking through your process.
It's early still. Mark
I know
likes
it is.
Patriots Seattle Super Bowl rematch with the Patriots win the Super Bowl. All right, what do you just go ahead? Tell me what your pick is. We're running late here.
Well, we're eliminating Chargers, Steelers, Panthers. I don't think the Bears are going to do it. I don't think the Packers are going to do it. I don't think the Bills are going to do it. I don't think the Broncos are going to do it. So you're looking at Seahawks, Rams, Eagles in the NFC. I know that's very square. And 49ers. And then you're looking at Jaguars, Texans, Patriots in the AFC. I'll narrow it down there, but I don't know yet.
Okay, so you're gonna wait till Thursday. You know what? I'm gonna wait till Thursday. We can give our 3 picks. UBN says not getting this pick. I'll make our Super Bowl picks on Thursday. How's that? I'm not ready to make mine either, honestly. And I'm not just saying that. I really don't know who I like yet. Give me Sunday. Maybe we'll do some kind of competition or whatever.
So I'll leave you with 2 thoughts on the
right.
NFL playoffs. One, for the first time in their 9 playoff appearances, the Houston Texans are not playing in the Saturday 3:30 game.
I saw that was a really weird Monday night game. Why did they pick that as the Monday night game?
It is a weird Monday night. I'm not sure.
I mean, I know they don't get first pick. I believe that CBS and Fox each get first pick.
Be a good game, maybe. I don't
know. It's gonna be a good game, I think, but that's just a weird pick. Lance says Gabe did not agree with him. He has kept to the no jinx code. He's not just saying it because he doesn't want to jinx.
No, I'm saying it. I mean, I think I told Jim last night my thoughts.
And here UBN's, he thought Rodgers looked good. I thought he looked good too, and he didn't have Metcalf, and so I think having Metcalf back is gonna mean something. Yeah. Cecil Evans, Happy New Year to you, my friend. Continued success on a fantastic podcast in 2026. Thank you so much, Cecil. And Jerry, you're right. Tyler Shuck is that dude. He sure looks like it. One Smoke says, our Miami ticket is still alive.
It is.
And
my last thought, I have a stat. Apathy earlier said that the Panthers get the short end of the stick getting playoff Stafford. However, if you're looking for a good bet, I don't know if this will be in my best bets on Thursday. I'm not going to give an early preview. However, I do like Carolina plus 10.5. Not because they beat the Rams early in the season, but because they're playing well at home.
10.5 now? It went up to 10.5? It crossed the 10 threshold. No, it opened to 10.5. Oh, I saw 10. Not on DraftKings. I saw
10.5.
My DraftKings said 10. Go ahead, keep talking. I'll look it up.
I'll look at it. It's 10.5.
Okay.
Kings right now. Anyway, so the Panthers this season have the 4th worst point differential ever for a playoff team since the merger. Number 1 was the 2010 Seahawks at -97. Number 2 is the 2011 Broncos at -81. Number 3
that's not going to stay 10.5. By the way, that's very heavily shaded to the.
Number 3, the 2004 Rams at -73, and number 4 is the 2025 Panthers at -69. All 3 teams with worse point differentials than the Panthers won their first round game. I'm not saying the Panthers are going to win, but I don't know. I like them plus 10.5.
I can tell you, I like plus 425 on the money line. A home team getting plus 425. Can we say Seahawks Saints? Remember that game? I know y'all remember that one. You remember Beast Quake game? Just saying. It can happen. Don't just dismiss it. All right, Gabe, I will see you on Wednesday. And by the way, program a note while Gabe is on here. We are doing our Friday show on Thursday this week. So you keep hearing us refer to Thursday. I meant to say that earlier. We're going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's why you got to subscribe to the pod on YouTube and click the little bell to receive notifications, because we don't always go on our regular schedule. We're going Thursday this week. Multiple reasons. I want us to give our Super Bowl predictions, and we want to be able to talk CFP playoffs, the quarterfinals, and they start on Thursday night. So we want to be able to talk about them. So Zach and the Pick'em crew and all of us will be here on Thursday as well. But I will see you first on Wednesday, and I'll let you know who our guest is going to be as soon as we can, Gabe.
Cool. Sounds good. See you then.
All right. See you then. All right, everybody. Just real quick before I go off the air, I will tell you the current lines at DraftKings. I was going to make a slide for this, and then I didn't. In the NFC, as Gabe said, the Panthers are 10.5-point underdogs at home to the Rams. That is crazy. The Bears, that has flip-flopped. It was, again, DraftKings refuses to do 1-point favorites or pick them. They just won't do it. I don't know why that has become a thing all of a sudden, but it goes from 1.5 one way to 1.5 the other way. They skip over everything else. Anyway, it's more important basically what the money line is. The Bears are right now -112. That means people are betting on the Bears. The Packers are -108 on the money line. You can also get them at +1.5 for -120. And then the other NFC game, the Eagles at home are a 4.5-point favorite over the 49ers. That seems like a lot just looking at it right off the bat. In the AFC, the Bills are a -1.5 favorite. That's probably going to go to 2.5 the way this is looking. The Bills are a slight favorite over the Jaguars. New England is a 3.5-point favorite over the Chargers. And on Monday night, we talked about it. The Texans are a 3-point favorite on the road at Pittsburgh. Interesting. We will talk more about those things on Wednesday. Jerry, it is great to have you back. We're so glad to have you back. Rocky's going to finish up the show with a turd would be better than Ruiz. That's some real hate right there. Kyle Sherman says Mike Vrabel's going to kick the door in. He says the Patriots win the Super Bowl over the Rams. I don't dislike the Patriots, that's for sure. That may be my pick in the AFC. We will see. Somebody asked me a question before I go off. I mentioned this earlier. Mark asked me, what do I think about Saints over under would be right now for next year? Would it be 7.5? I said I thought it would be either 7.5 or 8.5. It kind of depends on what they do in the draft. I don't know. We'll see. Charles, great show. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. All of our regulars were here today. We thank you so much. Charles says if the Saints win 10 games next year, you'll give me a bottle of Jameson. All right. Well, I will take it. I appreciate the love. That is going to just about do it for us. Kyle says go Ducks. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't care about that side. Whoever wins that side, I got a hedge because I have a ticket on Miami and Ole Miss. As much as I hate Ole Miss. I did it by holding my nose, but so whoever wins that game, I got a ticket on the winner of that game at a pretty good number. So I'll be hedging on the other side. Whoever wins, I guess I root for the Ducks. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. We'll see. We'll talk more about it on Wednesday and Thursday. Reminder, Thursday this week. That is going to wrap it up for us, though, on this Mano E Monday, our final Derry's Dime of the season. I want to thank today's guest. Well, you were our guest. Gabe was here. We hope you can join us next on Wednesday. Again, I will find out the guests hopefully by tomorrow. If I do, I will let you all know. We'll talk Saints. We'll talk NFL playoffs. We'll talk college football playoff semifinals, kind of like we did today. Maybe a little bit about LSU. Maybe we'll talk about coaching changes and other changes. Maybe we'll talk about the portal with whoever comes on. A lot of things to talk about. And one last reminder to subscribe to the Dattitude YouTube page. Click the little bell to receive notifications. You'll always know when we go on the air live, usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, live at 11 a.m. This week, it's Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, live at 11 a.m. Next week, we'll be back to our regular schedule. You can also, if you just want to listen, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, and many, many more. Get back into your routine. It's not hard to do, even for you teachers. We will see you all on. Sorry about that. Had to get one little jab in while my kids are in the other room there. We will see you all on Wednesday. Take it easy, my friends.